Welcome everyone, my name is Ryan and we are back with more vintage story today. This is episode 21 of the Let's Play series. It is a hardcore challenge, meaning I only have the one life, and I have put a self-imposed restriction that we won't do any killing or eating of meat. So it's a pacifist vegetarian run, but we have discussed maybe doing a little passive hunting, kind of bending the rules a bit, because of course up until this point we have no leather, and we're starting to get to that area in the game and progression where we do want some. And I want to be, as careful and respectful about it as I can, so I'm thinking maybe we'll work on setting up an elephant trap or something like that, because honestly, if we down even just a single elephant, that'll probably give us enough leather, maybe not for the whole run, but at least to upgrade maybe a couple of backpacks and do some crafting with it and stuff too. So we're going to think about that in today's episode, maybe find some elephants and dig a pit. And in addition, I really want to get some bees, so we're going to come up here. Along the way, we've got to pick up some papyrus and clay, because I don't really have anything on me to make the bee skeps yet, so we'll do that, and some flowers too, because of course the bees are attracted to flowers. But before we set out on our adventure today, I want to show you my progress here in our halite well. This is kind of the opposite of a well. Instead of bringing up water, we're going to be bringing up salt from this well. So as you can see, we're just on the outskirts of our little hut, our compound. The bridge is still not finished, and I plan now on building a second bridge, which will kind of come down to this, it'll be a descending bridge, a staircase, in other words. But I might make those a bit more of a priority too, since we've had this discovery. But enough talk, let's dive in here. Just to show you, we discovered this halite in the last episode. And if you did miss it, check out the playlist, which is linked down below in the description. But going past more black coal and more fire clay, that's right, we just stumbled into another seam of it here. Boom. Look at this, the top of the halite dome. It's a little deeper than I thought it would be. I figured it'd be just like one or two from the surface, but to be quite honest, it doesn't matter. We've got the ladders here, so we can go as deep as we want, dig out as much of this as we need. Yeah, as I said, we discovered it from the bottom, but in my experience with these salt domes, they're massive. I mean, this will be enough salt to last us for the rest of our lives here. And in the recent episode, we also filled up on fire clay and black coal, but if I need more, we know where to get it too. So, man, we've been incredibly fortunate with our resources here at this location. And as you can see, we're already in the Iron Age too, so the series started maybe a little slow, but boy oh boy, once we were able to settle down, oh yeah, it really started to explode. But I'm going to empty out the inventory, maybe work on the bridges later, because it's almost evening time, and in the morning, like I said, we've got to set out on a little adventure. But you know what, first, one thing we didn't do in the last episode, which was definitely a mistake, and I apologize for that, was to check on our baby dragon. Totally slipped my mind. I got so hungry searching for salt that I forgot to show off our newest addition here to the family. It's actually our first little addition. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get some chickens and goats, but where you at, buddy? No, I think he's gotten a little bit bigger. The maple wing hatchling. We're going to name her Pancake, I think. Yeah, there were several names brought up in the comments and recommended, and I appreciate you guys very much. I think Pancake is a fitting one for a maple wing, for sure. But yeah, I need to work on this, get her a safer and a larger enclosure. I think we're going to push this wall back a little bit. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll spend the rest of, the evening just beefing up her little home here. And like I said, in the morning, we've got a whole nother adventure. But eventually, with our little dragon, these ground adventures will eventually become aerial. Yeah, we'll be able to fly over all the dangerous landscape, which is something I'm looking forward to. Oh, and that's something else we'll need the leather for, is her saddle. So yeah, if we even want to be able to fly, we're going to have to get some leather. So we're going to have to make some serious choices. But I think if we erect maybe like a little monument to the elephant, which we have to fell, that'll be a good, retribution for taking out one, even if it's through passive hunting. But either way, the sun is going down, so let's get started, go to bed, and see what happens tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is a nice clear day. We're out here just getting started on our adventure. I grabbed a little bit of clay, so now I've got some blue clay. I also brought along some fencing so that maybe we can fence in an elephant or something. But there's some pigs right there. I'm not interested in the pigs, though. If we see any goats or chickens, I might also make an effort to entrap them in some fencing. But we know that our real points... Oh, there's a goat right there. Is there another one? Usually there's more than just one. Is that a goat? No, that's a deer, I think. Yeah. Pretty sure that's not a goat. Okay. Well, either way, horses, hyenas. We're also on the lookout for the elephants, too. But I think the first step, I don't know exactly how I want to deal with this, like an elephant, but I think the first step will just be to trap it, keep it locked in place. Whoa. Where's the big cat? That was a very clear cat noise. God, they're so elusive. I've seen one or two in the playthrough. Heard them. Oh my God, that scared me. That was a... Oh, Jesus, that was a hyena. Oh, Jesus, I thought it was a cat. I was like, the cat will kill us. Hyena's not such a great threat, but... Oh my God, I almost had a heart attack there. Whew. Oh... Alright, so another thing we need to do is keep an eye out for flowers. They're much... Oh, there's some goats right there. That's a goat. Yeah, they're much more rare in these tropical regions. Oh, there's a goat too. The flowers do seem to spawn less in this warmer climate, which is interesting. But, alright, let's try... something like this, maybe? Oh, damn it. We can still get him. I just got to go around. Alright, spook the gazelle. See here. This would be good practice for the elephant. Oh, shoot. I scared him too early. Ducked into the river. He's probably going to drown. Nope, there he goes. Maybe we can still get him. Come on, buddy. It's really better to have a trough and set up some hay in the trough or whatever, because that will attract them just naturally, All right, did he... I don't think we've got him positioned correctly here, but no. Now he's over there. All right, let me just reclaim my fencing. We're losing daylight here, so I think our best bet is probably to get up there, set up the skep, and then we can mess around, maybe trying to trap some animals after we've got, the bees going. But I can't forget, I do need to collect some papyrus too. I think I'm going to start grabbing some roots, because if we do want to get the more honey going, we're going to need more of this too, and I don't have any of it planted around the house. So, all right, well, not much else to do except slowly make my way towards the bees, and hopefully by the time I get there, I have enough papyrus. Okay, I lied. We're not going to go after the bees, at least not right away, because there's a rooster dead ahead of me right there. Get back in that. Get in there, rooster. I think it's a rooster. It might be just a female, but haha. Woo, we gotcha. Nope, that's a loud rooster right there. All right, a cocky fellow. Boom. Not bad. We got our first rooster. Let's mark him. Shows a distinctive little... We'll just do that right there. Rooster. All right. Beautiful. But, yeah, we've still got to continue on. I should probably double this up. Actually, I can save some of these by making it a smaller cage, but alright, I know I'm wasting daylight, but I promise we'll get over there to the bees. I promise, we'll do it. Rainy again out here, but there it is, the beehive. It's the closest one that I found, but I still don't have enough flowers, and I'm pretty sure I don't have enough papyrus. Yeah, oh, definitely not. It's like 3. I think it's 3 across the board here for that, but well, that's okay. There is a river just over here to the east. I checked these lakes. I might check this one and this one too, but the river might be our best bet. So there's another rooster. Yep, there's more chickens. Oh, it's awfully far from our other one. Maybe it's worth trapping those, but, well, I'm on a mission now. God, I really need to be looking out for the high fertility soil, too. I know there's got to be some. Also, with these acacia trees, I should be looking for resin, too. We're not quite ready for our windmill because of the flax, but obviously finding resin would be very helpful. And it does occur on the acacia. I think it's just pine and just acacia trees. Of course, if you have, maybe you have some sort of mod that would change that, but it's pretty few and far between here in these acacia, it feels like. I've only found 1 or 2 pine-bearing trees, so that actually should be a big priority. I probably should be getting these mushrooms too, because I tell you what, I haven't had much to eat except for grain recently. Although I know that once our garden finally comes in and we get a big harvest, oh yeah, I'll have an abundance of food. But also, I still have not located a single flower. So that's going to be an issue too with collecting honey, but not to worry. Oh, we are on the boundaries. Oh, look, there's a flower right there. Yeah, I was going to say, we're on the boundaries of that redwood kind of forest up there where there's more maple and oak. That would probably be our best bet for finding flowers up there. Although it could be a bit more dangerous. We might end up seeing some bears and wolves. So it's a trade-off, but here we go. Little papyrus growing just on the edge of the stream. This is perfect. It's one of the reasons I love the rivers mod. Because, hey, if you're in need of resources, whether it's papyrus or food, go to the river. Just seek out the river. Unfortunately, it's not an overabundance of papyrus, is it? I think, yeah, there's a little bit more down there, so I'll grab that. And there's a lot of lakes, too, so I should definitely be stopping off and, yeah, checking those. Okay, good news, good news. I found some resin. It's on a tree just behind me. I definitely have enough papyrus to make a skep or 2. And looks like we've come across a rhino. So obviously it's not an elephant, but I expect this guy will still drop a pretty good amount of leather if we were able to get him. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and fence him in. Oh, God, he's coming at me. Interesting. Okay. I thought he was going to attack that antelope for a second. Well, maybe it's not hopeless. If we give him like a really, really big fence, that might work, but I'm just nervous about getting too close to him, obviously. I have a feeling 1 or 2 hits from him would probably be the end of the run, so we got to be super careful, but I mean, we're not far from home. Yeah, I'm just, now that I've got the papyrus and the clay, I was thinking about maybe getting some flowers. He's going the wrong direction. This is, I mean, it's going to have to be a massive fence, I think. I don't know. Is this really worth it? He's kind of turning back over here. Maybe we'll get lucky. Don't really know how it could actually... If I were to get him in here, can I seal it off, you know? I want to kind of lure him to me. Oh, okay. And then around the fence. Okay, he ran away. He's just as afraid of me as I am of him, I think. Oh, well, this might be futile. Alright, I'll just forgo trapping the rhino for right now, at least. You know, with these bigger animals, a trough might actually be the best bet, because I think it will still work, being able to lure them in. So yeah, just for safety's sake, because I was just thinking about it with the elephants too. It's not going to be any easier necessarily, you know, to capture elephants. They're going to be just as skittish and aggressive as the rhino, maybe even more so, especially if they have like juveniles around them and stuff. So definitely going to have to rethink it, but a trough could be the ticket. All right, so yeah, I'm going to approach this forest, although we are losing our light, and the last thing I want to do is be stuck out here at night. Boy, I'm almost out of food, too. Okay, this is still water. Let's just fill up. I might go ahead and grab my bed. Let's pull that out of there. Have that with us. Actually, let me put those roots away. I think I'll put the fences away. You know what, on second thought, in case we find some goats or something, put that away. Okay, we're full. And let's get up into that forest before sunset, or at least try. Oh yeah, definitely getting dark, maybe even a little bit spooky over here, but look at this monster. Just found us a nice big ebony tree, so that's going to get marked, but... yeah, we're on the outskirts here of this oak and maple forest. There's even a couple of redwoods up here, but I am nervous about going into it in the night and dark. So I think we'll come up to the top of one of these hills and maybe lay our bed down. I think we're safe proximity from the forest. Yeah, let's come over here even more. Man. Just cannot find any flowers. Yeah, this is going to be, it's going to be mandatory going up into this forest, but, well, as you can tell, it's getting dark beyond our ability to see, so let's lay it down. I'll probably still wake up way too early, so it's still going to be pitch black, but I'll just pass a little bit of time, and I'll see you guys when the sun rises. Okay, it is morning, technically, but the visibility is not much better. Although, I've just been sitting here since about 2 a.m. meditating. But, no, honestly, what I was doing was looking at the map. Because I'm sure as many of you guys realized, you can see flowers on the map. At least if you got the color map turned on. So, there's actually a patch of them just ahead of us. Whoops, I actually didn't mean to do that. But you can see them, boom, right there. So those are some of the orange poppies. There's also a couple of clusters of what are probably, I don't know, some sort of blue flower on the outskirts. So I might actually go around it, because we could probably find some flowers too without having to go too deep into this forest, which, yeah, I don't really want to do. I am nervous that there's going to be wolves and bears to spawn in there. We've got enough wood, so I don't really need to chop down another redwood. We're literally just picking flowers. One of the most dangerous things we've done so far is go on a flower picking excursion. But it will pay off, as long as we survive. And honey is a big deal. It can improve our food. It can make a nice, unique sort of alcohol with mead. And, of course, as mentioned, the wax is super critical. All right, so that was a decent amount. Looks like there's more flowers dead ahead. Yeah, there's a couple more right there. Oh, look. berry bushes. I guess that's not too surprising considering we are technically in a different forest now, different type of forest or whatever. But it's hard to figure out these berry bushes and just exactly like how they work. Oh, look! This is our first black currant that we found. Oops. Again, not surprising, I guess, because we are in a different biome technically. I think I should kind of leave these. Maybe come back to them? It's not that big a deal for berries. You know, once our fruit trees get going, we'll have plenty of fruit, but still kind of cool seeing them. All right, well, got a little baby redwood. Look at that stumpy little redwood tree. We got some pretty big oaks. Do we see any flowers down in the valley? That's not flowers, that's amaranth. Oh, well, like I said, I think we'll play it safe and go around. Yeah. Next stop is going to be this blue patch. Actually, maybe about here. We'll stop at all of them. Let's go get some flowers, people. Okay, well, the flower hunt has been pretty successful so far. Every one of those little patches, that we looked at on the map turned out to be flowers, so that's good. But man, oh man, I'm glad I'm not playing with soil instability right now, because this would be nearly impossible to do this, at least in this location. Oh, hey, fruit tree. What do we got? Yellow apple. We'll leave that. If I were to try and transplant that over to our area, I don't think it would work because of the temperature, but regardless, staying on the outskirts here, because, oops, these flowers and these fruit trees definitely indicate to me that, and the berry bushes, that we could see bears and wolves too, so I think we're about good. This will definitely be enough flowers to get us started with our first skep, so we can go over to that beehive now. I think I'm going to go down to the lowlands as we travel, but yeah, we can return, set up the skep, place some flowers around it, and now we can also start to get some of our own flowers growing. Thanks to the alchemy mod that I have installed, yeah, we can actually propagate flowers, cultivate them. So that's something that's going to help alleviate this issue in the future. Because, ooh, is that rice? Yeah, never mind. I think I did see some flowers like on the hillside. There's another fruit tree. Oh, wow. A full forest of redwoods over there. But yeah, you can see a couple of flowers off in the distance. So if we do really need to get some wild ones, they're still around. But, oh, you know what? It's a good opportunity to take a sample. You know me, I've got that mining in my blood, so it's good just to have a general idea of what kind of minerals are around. You could get something exotic that you need down the road, like titanium or chromite, native copper, and cinnabar. Wow, one of the worst readings we've ever seen, but alright, we're not out of the woods yet, but it's just a short trip. Just need to kind of loop around the hill. And next stop, the beehive. Okay, here we are at our wild beehive, and of course we want to get some bees back to our base. So now that we're here, the first thing we want to do is make sure that we have a skep. We have a papyrus skep here, but of course you can use cattails for this recipe too, and a little bit of clay, boom, you've got yourself a skep. So the next step after making the skep is to raise it up a little bit. Essentially, we want this beehive to be somewhat close to the wild one. Yeah, it doesn't have to be right next to it, but this should probably be a good proximity. Yeah, right there. Now, if we look at the wild hive, in the tooltip at the top, it says population size is poor. So essentially what we want to do is place enough flowers here around our skep and around the wild hive that wild population will grow large enough that they will spread to our skep, is essentially what we're trying to do. So, like I said, flowers are the key to increasing the size of any beehive. And we'll just have to wait. It won't happen immediately. It might even take a day or two. And of course, if you're in the colder climates, it won't happen at all in the winter time because bees do go dormant, but we don't have to worry about that here. So we'll return home, and like I say, in a day or two, we can come back and collect our skep. Also, as a second and final note, there's really no need to place a second one over here, because once this is filled, it will require a backpack slot for us to pick that filled skep up. So having multiple skeps here doesn't do us much good. It's better to take this home and start our own little apiary back at the base. Okay, made it back home safe and sound. I kind of meandered a little bit and picked up a few extra resources here and there, but let's step inside where it's nice and safe. Hello. Check on the dragon. Make sure it's good over here. Hello, little pancake. Where's Pancake? There she is. Got my heart racing for a second. But despite her being a dragon, she is good at hiding. But, all right. So let's take a little bit of a look here. Put that clay away. Yep. All right. We got a couple extra bee skeps. I also picked up more papyrus. So, and the roots are in my little basket. Yeah, so those are going to need to get planted as soon as possible. I was also just picking up any of the mature flax that I could find, trying to help out, help ourselves along the way towards a windmill eventually. But you might have noticed that my food and water is getting to critical levels, so I'm going to put a few things away, like the flax, I guess, for now. Need to keep the roots together. We're going to use those tomorrow. And we're also going to set up our bee skeps, the ones we want here at the place. So I'll leave the papyrus, but for now, we desperately need to do some cooking. So let me grab my torches because it's a little bit dark over here. Yeah, let's see. I actually ended up with 22 black currants thanks to heading around looking for those flowers. Yeah, there were actually several different berry bushes over there that I came across. So I'm going to start with a little bit of this. Wait, don't I have a piece of firewood? Yeah, I cut down another pomegranate tree too on the way. Boom, 8 cuttings. I'm not actually interested in the pomegranate fruit as much as I am in just those trees basically being for grafting our breadfruit onto. So, but man, oh man, I tell you what, if our other 2 breadfruit cuttings, the ones that we just planted recently, yeah, if those 2 fail, we might have to return to our original home, which was over here. Yeah, because I've got 2 breadfruit trees planted near our original base that I'm hoping maybe they'll be big enough now that we could go and harvest some cuttings from them. But I don't know. We could get all the way over there, and heck, maybe they aren't big enough. So I would like to wait like a full season, in other words, return in a year or 2. That would be the best thing to do. But all right, got a little bit of firewood, got some fresh water, and look at that, quick and easy. Our first batch is done, but I think I'm going to fill up a crock pot or 2. Don't want to go overboard or it'll start to rot on me, but yep. And then, where's my bowl? There it is. In the morning, like I said, we'll decide where we want to put our bee skeps. I think I might put them out here. Yeah, so when we look out in the morning at the sunrise, we'll have a big, nice flower patch just sitting there with some bees too. All right, now that we've decided where we want to set up our apiary, we can start to place our bee skeps. Now, keep in mind that raccoons will raid your bee skeps and steal your honey, so you want to protect them. You could just fence in the area, but here's a quick tip. If you actually place a fence, just a single piece, and then lay the skep on it like that, it will totally prevent the raccoons from getting looking at that skep, so you don't have to worry about placing a fence all the way around the area. Now, ideally, you want to skip 2 spots and then put your other skep next to it. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to place these skeps on top. It's not the same as just putting it on a block. You got a less area to place it, but try and aim towards the back of that square and you'll get it on top every time. But there we go. And then of course, fill in all the gaps around and in between the skeps with flowers, and that will encourage the population size of our eventual bee colonies. Okay, I'm out here preparing a field, and I'm going to be planting some papyrus, but this tip is also true for cattails as well. So since I am using a scythe to harvest, we can also scythe up the cattails and or papyrus. Makes it a lot quicker and easier. So the way I like to lay mine out is in a strip of 3 wide like this. And again, that just basically facilitates easy scything, because once these are grown, what I'll do is I'll just focus on the middle plant and I will scythe as I walk down the row. And of course, if these were fully grown, you would see that we get nice tight harvests of the cattails or papyrus, so that I don't have to be, weaving in and out to constantly pick up all the drops. So just a strip of 3 wide is really the most efficient way I've found for scything up your cattails and papyrus. Well, I've got a few flowers left over, and as I mentioned, thanks to the alchemy mod, yeah, it might actually be the wild farming mod, which is a requirement for alchemy. I think that's actually what technically allows us to cultivate plants, flowers, I should say. But either way, like I said, it's a requirement for the alchemy mod, so they go hand in hand. But you could just play with the cultivation of flowers and mushrooms using wild farming and not have alchemy if you really wanted. But let's go ahead and plant these right away, because although we are waiting on our bees, it's still going to be a couple of days before they're ready. You can see that obviously I am thinking ahead, wanting to expand quickly with the bee honey. It takes a lot, especially to make mead. If we want to turn some of it into alcohol, oh yeah, that's quite a bit. So where do we put these? Over here is probably fine. Let's pick up some of our loose grass. Yeah, these don't need to go in cultivated ground, so we could, and I don't think that the soil fertility matters, but I mean, I'm just using medium anyway. I should have kept my scythe on me, huh? It's way too grassy over here, but yeah, so I've never actually spent much time cultivating flowers because they're usually just so prevalent, in the normal biomes and temperature zones that you start the game in by default. But here it's going to be much more important. And if you do want to get into actual alchemy recipes, you will need a bunch of flowers anyway. So, well, I can tell that I need to fix this portion of it, have a proper walkway. But I think that's what I'm going to do next, is take just a bit of a break from the exploration, settle it down just for a couple of minutes. Let's put that away there. Yeah, inventory's looking good. Need to drop my seeds off. We've got a bit of food. I prepared a couple of crock pots, but I think it's time to work on the bridges now. It wasn't such a big priority when it was just like going back and forth. I could just use this one ugly log, but now that we've got a halite mine super close to home, yeah, I want to get an extension going. So, and of course we've got an absolute crap ton of wood. Pardon my language, but it is true. Where is it? Where? Oh, the box is this one. No. This one. Haha, there it is. All right, so I think we will stick with the quarter logs. I didn't think I would ever make K-pop quarter logs again because they're kind of ugly looking, but no, they'll be good for this bridge. I kind of like the way it turned out. And I have a specific way that I like to design my raised platforms and walkways. So let's grab few stacks of this. I don't want to go overboard. In fact, that's probably more than I need right there. But, well, this way I don't have to make any more in the future. All right, so let's see. Oops. Yeah, I hate the inventory. There we go. Boom. All right, wait. That's not right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a space of 2 in the middle, and that'll be our walkway. Eventually I'll use like the stone pathing, which is just so much quicker. But these are going to be the base for our railing, essentially. So I'll make a whole bunch of fencing, probably K-Poc. Although, to be honest, I think granite fencing would look kind of nice on top of this. But these will house the granite or K-Poc fencing and kind of act as railings. And the middle part will be the walkway. But maybe it's a bit more elaborate than needs be. But it looks nice in the end, for sure, for sure. So I'm going to go across the river here. And I'll probably just use some rammed earth to substitute the stone pathing, because at the moment rocks like granite stones and even sandstone stones are very much at a premium. So I'm going to need to do some serious mining to up our supplies of stone and rock. Oh well, looks like I made a pretty decent amount of logs for what we need. Yeah, we're only about halfway. And then of course I'm going to build kind of a staircase over there down towards the halides. So let's get this laid out and then we'll work on that staircase. All right, putting some finishing touches on a little bit of pottery. There we go. Actually, a lot of pottery. I realized that I'm definitely going to need some more oil lamps in order to light up our newest bridges, but still a little bit dark out there. It's getting better. We'll take a look at the bridge here in one moment, but first I also realized I'm getting tired of this straw bed too, so we are going to sacrifice a little bit of our flax and make a proper bed. Of course, if you're not aware, the difference between the straw bed and this proper bed is the amount of time you can sleep. Wait, what's going on? Oh, I think I need more boards. Is that what it is? Yeah, I need 3 more boards. All right, we've got them. No worries. I've definitely got the boards. All right, so grab that. Quick and easy. Yeah, so in other words, if I go to sleep at like 8 p.m., you know, because I'm an old person. I like to go to bed early. Wait, it's still not working. What did I need? What am I doing here? Oh, it's literally got to be on that side. Well, either way, as I was saying, because I like to go to sleep early, the straw bed, I keep waking up at like 3 in the morning. So this will now allow us to sleep 8.5 hours, whereas the straw bed is much shorter. So I don't actually know offhand the difference. Let's see here. Yeah, 7 hours to 8.5. So, you know, hour and a half definitely makes a difference when you would rather wake up in the daylight as opposed to, you know, the darkness. But speaking of which, let's step outside. Oh, here we are. Yep. Looks okay, doesn't it? You know, could have done something like an arched step up, but it's kind of pointless, really. And I would like to have oil lamps, you know, maybe 2 or 3 running along the banisters here, or the railings. And I think I'm also going to connect it like some sort of pathway over the land here too. It's fairly short, but this bamboo is all in my way, so I need to clear it out. But here we are, our little step down. There we go. And I think I'll get some more K-Poc at some point and go around. Maybe turn this platform into wood too, but our salt is down there. Yep. I haven't touched it yet. Not much reason to at this point, but as soon as we get our first harvest, yes, I will definitely want to start to pickle some stuff. And if we can start to domesticate goats too, we'll need salt for making cheese as well. We won't obviously be using it for meat or anything of that nature, but it's still going to be very, very helpful for a lot of stuff. So I've dug out a few spots for pit kilns, although these 2 are not actually under the roof, so I definitely need to yeah, get another layer of roof and just bring it out, I think it'll be okay. It'll actually kind of connect up with this. So you can see I've just got a little bit of fine tuning to do here at the place, and I'm still working with my first set of iron tools, so haven't had to delve too much more into the blooms. We've got 12 cold blooms sitting here and 2 iron bars, but one thing I am going to need is some more sticks. Yeah, that's for sure, because we're getting low. After making all that fencing, my sticks are about out. So I'm going to take my 10 bronze shears, head over to the jungle and trim some leaves, but that's a bit boring, so we won't deal with that right now. But I think we can call it an episode here. We've accomplished a lot today for sure, and in the next one, we'll definitely return to our honeybees, and hopefully we'll have a full skep that we can bring home, start to propagate. So it's going to be fun and exciting progression. That's the name of the game, everybody. Now that we're here, oh, and speaking of which, we're going to have to get into the leather soon enough, but we'll save that for later. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.